There's a similar concept to raw call which is often used in smart contract. This is called delegate call. What it allows you to do is execute some code in another contract, but the update happens in the contract that called it. So for example, here we have a contract, has a single function called setBal, takes in an input of bal, and then it sets the state variable bal to the input. Using delegate call, when another contract delegate calls and then calls this function setBal, it will execute this code, but the update will happen in the contract that called it. So for example, here I've created another contract called delegate call. Okay, to show you an example of delegate call, let's first create a function external. I'll call this def test delegate call, and for the input, it's gonna need to take in the address of the contract that we're delegating call to, say to address. And for this example, we're also gonna pass in the input bal. So here, let's say bal of type uint256. Okay, and to delegate call, again, we'll be using the low-level function called raw call. The first input will be the address to delegate call to, let's say 2. And to specify that this raw call is going to be a delegate call, we'll need to say is delegate call, and then set this equal to true. We also need to specify what function we're going to be calling. The function that we're going to be calling is setBal. I'll copy this function, and then we'll put this as a string, and we don't need to have the name for the input. And this must be converted into the function selector using method ID. Furthermore, this function selector is followed by the input to pass to the function. So say convert bal into bytes 32. And now we need to put these two bytes into one. So say concat. And then put these two into the function concat. Okay, so this is how you use delegate call. When we execute this function, test delegate call, it's going to execute the code inside the to contract for the function setBal. SetBal, what it's going to do is update the first state variable called bal. Now I'm going to say again that delegate call is going to execute this code, but the update happens inside this contract. Now notice that here it's updating a state variable called bal, but inside here we have not declared this state variable. So we'll need to do that. Let's say bal public uint256. So now what's going to happen is it's going to delegate call, execute this code, and the update will happen here. Okay, let's try compiling a contract. And then let's deploy this contract first. Okay, and then go back, select the bal contract, compile it, and then also deploy it. Okay, and now let's call the function test delegate call. For the address, I'll copy the address of the bal contract, paste it here, and for the input, I'll pass in 1, 2, 3, then call transact. Okay, the transaction was successful. Now, if you were to use call, then the state variable that would have been updated will be the bal contract. So if you check bal, notice that it is equal to 0. This is because we use delegate call. Delegate call will execute this code, but the update will happen in the contract that called it. The contract that called it in this example, so if you call the bal state variable, notice we get 1, 2, 3. So what happened was we were able to update the state variable bal, even though inside the delegate call contract, we don't have any code that will explicitly update the bal state variable. However, by using delegate call, we executed this code and then we were able to update this state variable. If you have any experience with security, then a lot of red flags should be popping up in your head. You're basically allowed to execute any arbitrary code inside this contract, and there's a lot of bugs and hacks that is associated with delegate call. So it's really difficult to write a safe code using delegate call. This can be an entire course on how to use delegate call safely. So I'll now explain furthermore on how to use delegate call safely in this video.